Hello, guys. Welcome back to Top Football Live. This is myself, Biodun, hosting for tonight. I do not have the rest of the crew. Charles is not here tonight, same as Ayo. But I have very, very good guys to talk about. A lot of things that we have to talk about tonight. So welcome back, Lobzy, the Liverpool guy. You guys probably know Lobzy by now. Welcome back, Nee. This is your second time on the show. Thank you for honoring us last week. And welcome for the very first time, Ohai. Ohai is a Man U fan. We're going to talk about the Aston Villa Man U, and Ohai is going to have some things to say. So, welcome, guys. It's going to be the four of us tonight. But before we move on, I just want to appreciate all our subscribers, viewers, people following us, sharing our videos. Thank you very much. Continue to share, continue to like, continue to subscribe. We appreciate you. We're going to keep talking about many, many more games to come. So stay tuned and stay with us. Thank you. So before we turn it over to the two big games that I think we have for this weekend, there's a lot of games this weekend. There's actually Man City, um, Everton that I believe is coming up, same as Tottenham, Brighton. But we're going to focus on two games for tonight. We're going to focus on the West Ham Arsenal game, then also talk about the Aston Villa Man U game. I think those are going to be the cracker for this weekend. But before we do that, guys, you remember our last recording? That was before the Arsenal Liverpool game, where we had a lot of back and forth between myself, Ayo, Lobzy, and Nee. Lobzy, yeah, Lobzy. You have made mouth three times that I can recall it. And I just want to remind our viewers the first one was Liverpool Man U game. You said Man U wasn't going to score, it's going to be like 7-0. We all saw it was a nil-nil. Then the second time was Arsenal going to Anfield. Arsenal got a result. It was a 1-1 game, right? He ended as a draw. Then last week we talked about what's going to happen in Emirates. I settled for a draw because I felt that the form that Liverpool was a really top form. Here we are. We all know what happened. Would you mind explain and apologize for everything you said? Love
So,
seeing.
some of the things I think I mentioned on that day were true, except for one single thing. The prediction wasn't right, but the viewership was predicted. You could see even the numbers came out afterwards, and you could tell. It said a lot of people dialed in and watched the game. And like I said, every time Liverpool plays a team over the weekend, just know the Premiership always win, uh, always get a lot of money and like sponsorship and numbers during that period, which was part of some of our predictions. Bjorno settled for a draw because, after all, Liverpool was playing fantastic, and I can tell you, it came as a surprise to everyone in the Premier League and also to me that we lost the game. But there were certain things that happened just right before the game that were not in favor of Liverpool. First of all, Conor Bradley, I'm sorry for his situation. He lost his father, so he couldn't play. So, an active member of the team in the last couple of games was lost at first. The next thing, Soboslai, that was handling the midfield, like I mentioned, he was going to be part of our midfield, was also injured. So, those two guys left, right? So it created a vacuum in Liverpool that you could tell that, okay, if a team has been performing so much well this way, you can all of a sudden disrupt it. Like two, it was just overnight. It wasn't something we had prepared for. If it was something we prepared for that would happen to the team, then we'll understand. But we're only left with adjustments to add in new players that have not played in a long time. Thiago came in, played the game. You could tell he played only 5 minutes in the game. Already he's back injured again. And I'm like, at this point, shouldn't this guy just like leave at the end of the season because he's already old? And you could tell the football is telling on his age. Then Trent was there. Then the Robertson too came in. Although he was active, but you could tell that without the midfield, that had been creating the chances in the past. Like what Conor Bradley, the little impact he made within these few games he played, and Soboslai made within the few games he played after his injury. You could tell that the team started getting used to that, and having a sudden change a night before the game was eventually going to affect the team. But remember, it is still the Premier League. You know, you win some, you lose some. This is our second loss this season. I took it with a very great affection, because I was immediately after I saw the second goal, I was like, yeah, I don't think we're going to win this game. I could tell, because we weren't trying. We were trying, but we weren't making the impact to score. You could tell that midfield was
So,
missing something that
Lobzy,
need
I'm,
us to
I'm
score.
going to come back to you. I saw a political spill throughout your statement, but I'm going to come back to it. But I want to call on Nee, and I'm going to go to Ohio next. Nee, what
Yes.
what's your analysis of what happened on Sunday? And I'm sure you probably have a very good recollection, right? And I know you're not going to go against your Liverpool brother. I get that. I'm going to do that myself. I'm not asking you to do my job, but I just want your honest analysis of what happened, what went wrong, what did you expect versus what did you experience on Sunday?
Okay. Just to start everything off, I was right about the score, but not about the team that was gonna, have that score. And with my prediction, I did say 3-1 for Liverpool, but I mean now that we know it's Arsenal. But about the game, I would say that the attack wasn't there. I mean, even our first goal, I mean, wasn't really like a. I mean,
You
it
didn't
wasn't really solid because I mean the ball bounced through different multiple players, and like I said, the attack wasn't there. And going to the defense, Trent came in. He played at the right back position, and I just didn't think that it was uh, he had that intensity within him because he just came back from injury. Then also like looking at Robertson, I mean, I don't think that those guys were actually ready for that type of intensity game. So, and but then we didn't have any choice, with especially on the right back position because the player that was playing there before Connor was out, and but also like in the midfield area, all I mentioned it already. We were missing some players such as Zobo, and with that, I think that and also one of the players that I do want to mention was Gravenberg. I don't think that was
Rappenberg. It
yeah,
wasn't in the game.
yeah, it wasn't I don't know why he was picked because there are some other players that could have been picked and I just don't know his style of play right now. Especially like going against Arsenal, like you have to pick like a good attacking players and it just wasn't there. And so I would say that, Arsenal, I mean, they play well. I mean, especially with their second goal when it came, with our defense, having some errors, with the goalkeeper and Van Dijk. I mean, that really caused some issues, and I think that they could have handled it better. But then, like I mean, things happen in games. So like, and this is our second loss, so we can't really be down. I mean, we have to really worry about Man City because in the second half of the season, that's when they are like animals. So like, I mean, that's our only words for right now. But all we can do right now is just focus on the next game and win as much as we can, and just hope that Man City lose some point along the way. But overall, I would say that I mean it wasn't our best game. I mean, even if we are tied, it still wasn't our best game. So, but like I said, we can just look forward to the next game and hopefully like get the maximum point going forward.
great, great. Thank you, Nee. Why? Neutral fan, right?
I knew neutral. Yeah.
Neither an Arsenal fan, neither a Liverpool fan in this situation. But as a Man U fan, what's your quick analysis of the game, Arsenal Liverpool?
I think with the form that Liverpool had leading up to the game, right? I think that they just didn't take that game as serious as they need to, most especially from a selection position. as well as also the play or the tactics that what they call the club decided to deploy during the game and all. I think that he didn't do his best in basically giving Arsenal the respect that they deserve because Arsenal is a team that basically plays in a certain type of way, and I feel like if Klopp just got the how like the tactical analysis a little bit wrong in that game, and they were punished for it in that regard, right? Fast wingers. We know that Arsenal likes to build a little bit from the back. You need to at least choke the midfield in a way to prevent those passes when Zinchenko gets in the middle. Whoever is playing left back gets in there in order to play or at least nullify the crowd that is in the midfield in order to prevent those passes from going. I feel like if Liverpool didn't do that, and I was expecting a better game, if you ask me, right? Maybe a tie or a last minute win. Obviously, they're missing Mo Salah because Mo Salah was going to give them that counter attacking threat that they will need. But they said they didn't need him, with Jota playing as angry as he was, scoring multiple goals, leading all the way to that game. Darwin Nunez playing out of his mind and all. Diaz, so and so in that regard. But I still feel Liverpool just got it wrong. And I blame Klopp because if you say that this is a season where you basically have to surpass Man City, you need to at least put the tactical prowess as well as you need to get games like this right. When I look at the table, you can beat anybody, but the top four, which is the Man Cities, Chelsea's, Arsenal's, maybe Tottenham, and we could talk about Man U and all. You need to beat them. You need to beat them, and they just didn't get it right this time.
Great, great. Thank you. Just one thing. I'm not sure if you meant it, but I heard Chelsea being called when
Oh, yeah,
They are not part of the. They are not part of the equation.
we need to read that. We need to take that out. That's not
top six, top six, top
that's
six,
a mutable thing.
top six.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll give Lobzy an opportunity to respond, but I just want to call this out for our viewers. If you guys remember last week, Lobzy said some things. One of the things he said for Liverpool, it doesn't matter who plays in that midfield. He said it's Liverpool,
Yeah.
right? He said Klopp has created a system. You guys remember when we argued a lot about the buy and build model, right? Lobzy said it here with confidence, right? With his chest, saying, full chest, saying, it doesn't matter. I don't care whether it's Gravenberg. I don't care whether it's Zuboslai, because I need to call it out to you and me. This is now, after the game, saying somebody missed the game, somebody did not. You said it, Lobzy, that it doesn't matter who plays in the midfield. There's a system that your coach had created, and that system is good. Whoever comes into the system understand how to play, how to deliver. I did not see that on Sunday. Now you're saying something different. That's number one thing that I'm going to call out. Conor Bradley is new to the team. He has started, I think, 2 or 3 games. So I don't want the excuse of Conor Bradley was on a good day. Trent starts ahead of Conor Bradley, except Klopp wants to rest him for important games, right? So we know quite well, and we actually asked ourselves on the show, who should start? Who would start? Who would be the first thing? I think, except for Niji, they actually said he would prefer Conor Bradley because of the weaknesses that come with Trent. I think everybody else agreed that Trent should start, and because he had more advantages than the defensive, vulnerabilities. As a matter of fact, when you played Man City, it was Trent and was the one that actually equalized. So not that the vulnerability has not always been there; it's always been there. But even against City, that was stronger, it was Trent that played, right? So the thing with Klopp is, he will still play Trent. You can take advantage of his weaknesses, but he also give you the offense capabilities that could result into win. So that's number one thing I also wanted to call that Conor Bradley would have had to start from the bench either way if he did not have that issue. And I think that's right. We did talk about Robertson and we talked about Gomez starting. I think we agreed on that, and that's what we saw. Robertson came in later. So I just want to call out some things that you said that you are now trying to tweak and give excuses, which I don't think it's right. So we need to fact check ourselves, and let's be honest to our viewers and our subscribers at terms that no, this is not a political spill, right? I accept it's fine. It was a good game regardless. The season is long. That doesn't determine who will win. It just determined how things could change. And if you could not beat Arsenal, take a draw at Emirates, I don't know how you're going to play against City. There's actually in top form right now, which you all know that they are the masters of the second half of the season. So that's the challenge I think I have. And that's where I see the problem coming for either Arsenal or Liverpool. Because the way Man City is going right now, it's going to be hard to stop them. If you could not stop Arsenal, how do you stop Man City? Lobzy.
So, to correct the point you or the statement you've established just now, is that what I said? I said Klopp has designed a system where you can substitute players in the same position back with a new fresh set of players and they work fine, right? Meaning, although you substitute them, right, even when you change the system around, they should work perfectly. The players I mentioned were in the midfield, right? Not just the defense, right? We couldn't substitute any other person for Trent because he's not even available to play. So that one part, you
No, no,
cannot
no. No, there
substitution.
was one other option. Remember, there was one other option. Gomez could have played right back, and Anderson could have played left back, which actually happened at the end of the day.
But I never mentioned Anderson. I
No,
said
no, I'm
Anderson.
telling you, said there was no option. I'm telling you, there was an option.
There was an
That's
option, but remember,
it was
I
an option.
specifically
Klopp
mentioned.
decided to go with that formation. So
Okay.
another one that I caught you on. Go ahead.
What I said, we are not going to. There's the chance of using Anderson and Robertson on that day is slimmer because he is just coming off from injury. So in my substitution equation, he's not on my number 11 and first
He
11.
eventually played.
Not in the first 11. In substitute was by chance because you can't be injured for a whole season. This is your first game. You want to play Arsenal. No, it's too risky to just for one game. You lose it. Other games will always pop up.
But before the game, you didn't think that was a weakness overall for Liverpool. You thought you were
I knew that Anderson
no. Before the game, you said
Okay.
regardless that you were stronger, and even when we
yeah,
analyzed,
we were no sincerely
you were
okay.
stronger regardless.
How
You
do you
strong-
think? The question is, how do you think the game would have been if those players that were away, not by choice or by choice, right? How different do you think the game would have looked if those players were in?
I will answer
Well,
you.
we
Answer that,
leave.
but I will tell you the same thing. How do you think the game would have gone if the players that were missing for Arsenal too had been available? Julian
What
Timber.
players were missing?
No, listen, I'm mentioning them. Julian
Two
Timber.
times
No,
we
no.
played.
Julian Timber would have started before Zinchenko. That's number one. Partey would have been an option. Whether it's on the bench, and that would have scared you that we had a stronger bench. Then Jesus
Okay,
was.
so but wait, the
I
question
just
is,
answered you. 3 players.
But those players are not really like. I mean, Partey, like nobody's. I mean,
Who
Partey,
is there?
he hasn't played, so like.
No. Again, he hasn't played, but you and I know that. I mean, we talked about it. That's a key guy that is missing in our midfield.
No,
You remember
but
the way we
I
played?
don't think that Arsenal missing.
Arsenal has not missed.
We are missing Partey.
You guys don't missing. Like, you guys have other players, man. You guys are really good right now.
No. This is the part
Except for Jesus.
this is the part you are missing. In that game, just like you had the Gravenberch injury and you had the Soboslai, we started our 2 other defensive midfielder, right? Jorginho and Rice. We played them together. If any one of them had gotten injured, we didn't have anybody.
Maybe Rice, then maybe Rice, but
that's why Partey is important. If any one of them had been injured, we would have had a problem filling that role. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead, Lobzy.
So, so essentially, what I'm saying is that we had all the opportunities to play a perfect game if all else remains the same. But like the game of football, it's usually not the way you want it, right? And I could accept 2 losses this season, which is fine, as far as we win the game against Man City when we play them at home, because that will be the ultimate decider.
And that's the question that I asked.
That's the ultimate decider of the team of the season. And it won't. Sincerely, I know the game is not going to occur until at least this is February. It's not going to occur until almost towards the end of the season. So that is the main ultimate decider of the season.
I think
all
so.
else remain the same. Man City right now after the last game, it felt like it was an opportunity to catch up. But remember, when you're trying to race, it takes a toll on you over time because you want to catch up, and in process of catching up, they might lose it. So, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. Yeah. 2 losses. The Arsenal loss was better now than later because it would have been worse if you lose by 1 point at the end of the season again, because it seems like this season is going to be another season like that. So, but I would love Man City to lose by 1 point so that they understand how it feels like. You know.
When they beat you to 1 point in the past. I know what you're talking about. But anyway, it's been a wonderful recap, and I hope this one would calm Lobzy down and let him understand that sometimes when we talk, games don't play out the way we talk sometimes.
Uh,
No, but also like
maybe.
last week, you weren't really sure about your team. You were like,
Yeah, you
you know,
weren't sure. You weren't sure about your team.
let us start. That's it.
No,
You
no, no.
weren't sure about your team, but now you're like,
There's a difference. There's a difference. No. There's a difference. I wasn't sure about the results. I wasn't confident about a win. That's what I said. I wasn't confident about a win. But the team that played showed up. Again, I don't think we should take credit away from the Arsenal team the way they played because
Yeah, Arsenal played a good
we
game.
talked about Liverpool not getting their rhythm. No, I actually think it came from the way Arsenal played. Arsenal played with a force nine. Actually, two force nine. Odegaard and Havertz were playing at two force nine, and that kind of left Van Dijk and Konate in the land of the missing. They didn't know what to do. They basically were standing and looking for somebody to mark, and that actually messed up their shape. So let's give it to Arteta for the first time. I think he got it tactically right against Jurgen Klopp. He has never been able to beat Jurgen Klopp, but I think he got it right with Jurgen Klopp this time around. But I like to wrap up. Excuse me, guys, and I like to move on to the two crackers that we have this weekend. I think that was a great recap and needed discussing. So, Lopsy, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's talk about the Arsenal West Ham. And I actually feel that there it's going to be a waste, and it's going to worth nothing if Arsenal did not go on to gain another 3 points. Then that Liverpool win will
Yeah,
mean nothing. So over to you, Lopsy. West
So
Ham.
for my Arsenal fan and the West Ham supporter on the chat tonight, I think some of the basic questions I have is this. Everyone after the last game, Arsenal felt like the team that seems to be charging for a three-horse race. He's trying to say, oh, between us, Liverpool and Man City might be the new three-horse race, right? But the question I want to ask is this: what confidence level do you think either team has to win the next game on Sunday on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest?
Uh, do I go first?
I want West Ham to go first because it seems like Arsenal has a lot of.
There's no West Ham fan. We're just going to have Niyi and Ohai respond as West Ham tonight.
Yeah, the like I mentioned, yeah.
I mean,
So Ohio can go first.
the one thing I would say about West Ham's form is the fact that so far, right, Lucas Paqueta basically plays as a huge linchpin for that team. And we all also know what Michael Anthony brings to the game too as well, right? The team has basically been carried by somebody who went to the AFCON and yet came back and is still producing something. So I would say that it's Arsenal's game to lose, right? The thing about Arsenal sometimes is when they face big giants, they basically play up to them. But yet when they meet regular people you expect them to beat, they basically play down to those specific teams. But let's see if their ideology has basically changed in this game. And then that's the only way in which they can be able to get past it. There's some people who I feel are basically warriors in the Arsenal team, which are the Jesus, Zichenko. The others, I don't know. So let's see how it goes. I mean, Harvest hasn't really given us any confidence like that to say that, okay, fine, we can play him in that false nine position to play. Saka, obviously, yes, has been producing from them. Martinelli played out of his mind against Liverpool. But aside from Saka, Martinelli goes on and off. So where are the goals going to come from? Are they going to come from where? So it all depends. It might be a 2-1, 2-1 win or 2-0 win. Arsenal, Saka taking the team on his back like always, and that might be the only way to get past it if they play according to plan. Because obviously, I think what Jorginho, who played absolutely out of his mind against Liverpool, is out doubtful. Who else? And then they might have to find somebody else to put in the midfield to assist them. Rice, who's been playing out of his mind there. So, is Arsenal's game to lose? I mean, West Ham, I don't know. They might pull one off with Bowen and Kudus coming back from the African Cup of Nations, but that's about it.
Do you think the current form of West Ham, because before it seems like West Ham historically has always lost a lot more game to Arsenal. Do you think the current form of West Ham is capable enough to overcome Arsenal with their current form?
I think West Ham hasn't won a game in the last 5 games, right? And whenever I look at form, I look at your last 5 games because that's basically what speaks volumes for you. You played against who? Manchester United, you lost 3-0. You played Bournemouth, you drew 1-1. Sheffield United 2-2. Bristol, you basically lost to them as well as who? Bristol, you drew and then you played. So personally speaking, I'm wondering, okay, fine. Everybody had a little downer between December to January playing all these extra matches and yet you still didn't even get your form going and all. So I don't know. Their form till date in the last 5 games, they haven't really played well or played convincing to say that if you play an Arsenal, you can win. So that's where my little distrust comes from. But I see them. I mean, I see Moyes doing an absolute great job with the team. But from the last 5 games, I mean, Arsenal has won 3 out of 5. And then the huge 5-0 defeat against Crystal Palace just gave them the confidence to move all the way ahead there. These are the things you need in order for you to stay up to par with at least West Ham is like a top 8 team or top 10 team if you call them what they are. But that's really about it.
Awesome, awesome. So now to Biodun, if you can defend your team by telling us what if you're going to win with your current form, what will make you win? One, two. Would you say that your team with recent form has been consistent in their winning ways, or is it, oh, we won Liverpool, that's just a chance, then now maybe West Ham is a different animal, you know?
Yeah, so number one on the your question around confidence, I think I have a higher confidence than and this is coming off of the win against Liverpool. The Liverpool game, I again I wasn't sure of the win because the two games before that, I remember our last three games has been a win, so we're in a good form, right? We beat Crystal Palace, we beat Nottingham Forest away, then we beat Liverpool. So the last three game has been a win, which I think is great, right? And it's good for us. The challenge is that we're going to West Ham. It's an away game. Uh, just to remind folks, West Ham results. They beat Christmas games, right? December games. They beat Man United and beat Arsenal. So they beat Man United and Arsenal back to back. And the Arsenal was the last game they've won so far in EPL. They have not won a game since they beat Arsenal at Emirates in December, right? They've drawn games and they lost to Man United. I would say number one, the blueprint from the loss to Man United should be looked into, and I think that's how we should deal with them. Now, can I associate that to to the absence of Kudus, right? Because we know that Kudus has been the brightest player so far in West Ham. They are signing so far, and there is a way you can make a connection that it went to the Cup of Nations, African Cup of Nations, and maybe that's what affected West Ham form. He did play against Man United, but he just came back, right?
Mhm.
So is it going to be in a better form against Arsenal? I think we should expect that. In terms of Arsenal, uh, I like to think that the way Arteta reacts if he lost a game, first leg, he tries not to lose the second one, and he gears up his team with that kind of anger. And like, hey, you know what happened? You need to go. So this is an opportunity for us to clean up the mess that we had in December with West Ham. I like not to use the word revenge, but I think we should approach that game with that. Like the 3 point that we lost, we need to go back and fight. I tell you today, it's never going to be an easy game. It's not going to be an easy game against West Ham. West Ham has not had the win since the last beat Arsenal. They are playing at home. They will definitely want a win. So it's going to be a tough game. Why is it going to be a tough game? Liverpool came out to play. Nottingham Forest came out to play. When you come out to play against Arsenal, there is a chance because Arsenal knows how to capitalize on the counter attack. They know how to press, they know how to hold the ball, they know how to take chances and use the small spaces. West Ham is not going to come out to play like Liverpool did. So we need to understand that it's going to be a challenging game. They are going to maintain the shape. Look at the way David Moyes doesn't play an interesting game. We all know that. He stays back, he stays pushed back, and they rely on quick player like Jared Bowen and Kudus to make the runs and do the counter. That is how they play. and they have midfielders like Ward Prowse that can, make a very good connection, good passes and all that. That's how they play. So it's going to be a different ball game, meaning we have to be serious, we have to be focused, we have to be disciplined. We cannot afford to lose the ball and let what happened to us in the first leg happen again. When because we press all through the game, we had like possession. But how did we lose the game? We lost. They made a quick counter. They had a chance. They converted. And it was difficult for us to score because they just low blocked. So playing against West Ham is never going to be easy. And it's not going to be easy on Sunday. We need to find a way to draw them out. Now, I think if we're going to lose that game, the mistake will come from our manager. I think it's clear to everybody right now that Jesus should not be playing as our striker. And I think it's killing our chances. And I think we have to find a way to get Jesus to the side. What Havertz and Odegaard did, drawing out the defense, maybe we need to play like that again. But I don't think it's what playing Jorginho and Rice in this game. I don't think it's what it's a good combination against teams like City and Liverpool. So we might need to play just only Rice, but we need to bring another midfielder to kind of draw out West Ham. But we need to be aware of their defensive shape and relying on counter with folks like Jared Bowen and Kudus.
Nice one. So, Nee,
Yeah.
if you could chime in here and like give your unbiased opinion on both teams and what you think could be a fair assessment of both teams and their chances of winning the game on Sunday.
Yes. So when it comes to like West Ham, I mean they are seventh in the table. So like I mean they are not a bad team. It's just there are some times when they will have their moment and they will win against big teams. So Arsenal have to like watch out for this. And with Arsenal too, like I believe that the coach is always overthinking, like with tactics, what should I play, what sort of tactics should I choose? So like I think that there are some times when Arteta, those like genius within him, it works. But then there's times when he overthinks and he overplays the end. So like he has to really watch out for what type of player that is going to use for this game, as well as not overdo it. Like West Ham. They're a good team, but also like they can be a bad team. And the last time West Ham beat Arsenal, so like he has to not overthink about what type of tactic he will use this time. And so for me, like going on with this game, I think that I don't know. Arsenal have to like they have to really they have to play like they play against Liverpool. And but then West Ham is a different team, so they have to adjust to the way West Ham plays. So I mean, right now, I'm looking at Arsenal win, but also like I won't be surprised if they draw or if West Ham win this game.
Awesome. That was precise. So I'll go back to Biodun now. And the question will be this: if Arsenal will win, like we always say, first, which three players will be vital for your win? Is my question. Three players in your team that will be vital for your team, and also, what do you predict the score to be? It's going to apply to you also, Ohio, so that you understand. So, which three players in your team will be very vital for your win?
That's it.
We can allow your excuse if either of those three don't play, or if those three players don't play, But if those three players are present and you still lose the game, then
No, I mean, the three players can even play, but if they don't play as they should, then that's a deficiency, right? And we've seen it before, and I will tell
not
you
as they should. If those
I'll tell you why. No. Again, it happens to every team. Like, for example, you could have KDB in a game for City, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if KDB didn't deliver, he's just struggling, right? You will see Guardiola take him off, right? That's a miss, right? We have players like that. It's just their off day. If they're on their off day, there's nothing we can do. So
Ireland has been on his off day.
Yeah, Odegaard is always key to an Arsenal win. Why is he always key? It's key to creating chances. If Odegaard is missing, we create less chances. That's a problem right there. You saw the game against Liverpool. That was Odegaard playing fantastic, right? You saw how he was making passes like true players that you would not expect, right? So Odegaard is key, number one. I don't know if Jesus will be back. If Jesus is still
You want to
injured.
bet your money on Asus of all the three players?
No. I'm struggling because if Jesus was fit, I know Jesus he would want to play
Okay.
against West Ham. Honestly, you need chaotic players to draw out West Ham and to create chances. Those guys will just play. I know the way they will play. They will not struggle to win the ball with you in the midfield. They know that you are better. They know that you are superior. So they will let you have the ball and rely on Jared Bowen, Kudus, and Ward Prowse and all these guys to counter. That's their game plan. We all know that Moyes is never going to play an interesting game, right? Now that they have Calvin Phillips, maybe there is good. Maybe Calvin Phillips is fit enough to start and even block with them. We don't know. So you need chaotic players like Jesus to draw them out. The challenge with Jesus is he holds the ball too much before he makes that decision. But another player that is key is Martinelli. You also saw what he did, right?
So
Our
two
front three,
Martinelli.
yeah, Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka is actually what I think are the key players, right? Because they need to draw out that defense. The previous games, they double on these guys. Martinelli had a fantastic game. But like I said, Liverpool is going to be different from West Ham. You might put one person on Martinelli. West Ham might put two players on might put two players on Martinelli. So if West Ham put two players on Martinelli, he would have to step back, play a pass, so that I can always get if he doesn't have a one-on-one, he might not want to take them on. But I think our chances are always in our attack on the side with Odegaard in the middle, trying to locate these guys and split the defense. So that's where our chances is. I'm not worried about Rice. It will watch out and it will kill all those counter and all those threats. It will be able to sniff the threats out. The challenge is if we don't have those players, just like we struggled with injuries, Ren, then maybe we should just play Jorginho and Rice, and just leave Odegaard in. But I don't know if we should be playing that much superpower against West Ham. That's the other problem I have. So now, what do we do? Do we bring in another midfielder when we drop Giorgio, which is do we bring in Trossard if Jesus is injured? I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. But one other thing I would say to my Arsenal fan is this: I think Zinchenko is injured. Zinchenko gives us that additional option. So now we might be missing Zinchenko. We might have to rely on what's his name? Kiwo. Kiwo had a good game against Liverpool. I actually think that was his best game so far in our national shirt. Kiwo. Because we know it's not that great. But he had a good game. He had a good second half in that game. The problem is he will not go forward. He will not do all those switching into the midfield play and all that. So I think it's actually good because if you play defensive, it will sniff out all the counter threats coming from West Ham. So that might be helpful. But again, Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka.
So Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka. So do you so that I understand the reason why the question was posed? We have strike, midfield, defense. That's why I mentioned. That's why I said three players. One must be a strike. One most likely must be a striker. You mentioned Saka.
No,
Midfield
we don't.
and
I don't count
defense.
them as striker because again, like I said, right, the tactics. I'm still assuming that Jesus will not be fit. So
So
I'm
yeah,
hoping
so you
that
don't expect.
yeah,
So
so I don't think we're going to play a traditional nine because we don't usually play unless when we play in Ketia. So it's not going to be a traditional nine for us. It's going to be players that is going to be moving around. So even Kai Havertz might be designated as that striker, but he's not going to play a striking role.
and essentially, if those three players play, you expect the scoreline to be.
To be in favor of Arsenal because chances will be created.
So you don't want to mention the scoreline.
You haven't asked me for the scoreline.
I did mention that was the first
Okay.
question. I said three players and the scoreline.
I don't know what the scoreline will be, and I don't really care about scorelines. I just care about 3 points. Like I always tell you, guys, I care about 3 points.
All right. So
Even
Arsenal
if it's a
wins.
slim margin, yeah, I'm hoping. I'm hoping for an Arsenal win. I'm hoping for an
Arsenal
Arsenal.
win. I see that you are a risk averse person. The last time you predicted Liverpool, you said, "Oh, we'll take a draw," which is fine.
No.
Awesome.
I'm not one of those guys that just. I mean, I have some Arsenal friends that no matter what, right? I get it. It's a fun thing. Like it's a win, even when we know that we are not good enough, right? We say we're gonna win. I just follow the form, right? We're in a good form right now, but I also consider what West Ham had done to us before and what they could do to spoil the fun. So that's why I'm being cautious here. I won't be shocked. I will be pained, but I won't be shocked if he handed a draw. But I hope that's not the case. But I'm hoping that we'll win.
Awesome. So, your
Yeah.
point now.
I think for three players, obviously I think Nasif Aguerd, the Moroccan centre back, has been really dominant, and he's helping cancel out a lot of Zuma's situations back there for this season, and he has been scoring too. So that's a good guy back there. I'm hoping that he joins the fold, most especially after the AFCON, and then continues with that specific form. But then, I mean, that is one in the back. I think in the midfield has been one of what do you call it, their biggest strengths. Ward Prowse has been an awesome addition to that team, providing assists, set piece plays, and all that, which is basically giving players like Zuma and Agued the opportunity for them to score goals on the top front and all that. We all know the threat of Kudus and Bowen on the sides, most especially with Micah out and all. So I'll give them the opportunity to basically push it out there. Unfortunately, I called 4 players because I feel like if I go back there, has helped calm things down. Bowen and Kudus, as well as Ward Prowse in the middle. I can't bank on Calvin Phillips because we could tell even one of the goals that Manchester United scored last week was basically caused by him. He didn't even track the player back in order to at least nullify that specific position. I'll say that Man City stupidity has entered his head where he's not playing so much and he's sitting on the bench watching games and not playing on a regular basis. But we're hoping at least after like 3 or 4 games, he might be able to get back to the fold. But for now, we're still Ward Prowse's team with Bowen and Kudus performing magic, and then Aguero just giving Zuma that confidence to play on the even key.
No, we don't have a spare option. We are only 3 players. If
Well,
that was
I
the
mean,
case,
I can take Aguero out. I can take Aguero out, but I still feel like if he was scored this game, you know,
played against Man U and they still lost 3-0.
well, okay. So obviously, he will still. I mean, but okay, check this out. In the goal that I think Garnacho scored when Phillips they played the ball to him and he lost it in there, you had like almost 4 players running at you. There's basically nothing you could do. Actually, 3. There's nothing you could do to stop that kind of situation. You just have to pick and choose who to mark and all. So they will definitely score you if you make those kinds of mistakes. And it might be the same thing that will happen. I would advise at least not to play him or at least put him in as a sub until he gets back to the flow of play. And I think that will basically be what gives Arsenal the run for their money in this game.
awesome. And in conclusion, what's your score prediction?
2-1, 2-1, 2-1. West Ham is going to win because Arsenal is going to basically think about it so much. And West Ham is just going to sneak it in. 1-0, 2-1, 1-0. It's going to be a 1-goal separation.
Wow.
That's fair. That's fair. So
you
that's
know what's funny? My brother is a Man U fan, and I'm surprised that I will go with that kind of prediction because that would actually make West Ham top you on the table. You should be open for a West Ham loss so that you can top West Ham. But I guess your prediction is based on the hatred for Arsenal. That's okay.
awesome. So that's the conclusion of Arsenal's prediction and their analysis of the team. But so now, since we really don't have Aston Villa supporters or Man U supporter, I can't be a Man U supporter.
Why is the Man U guy?
Supporter. So we will have the conclusion of this chat tonight to discuss the performances of each one of these teams, like this Aston Villa, their tactical nature this season, and Man U's would I call it lopsided season this season, and we'll talk about what their chances will be in the game over this weekend. So if Bjorn will start, I'm not sure what you're going to analyze, but you can go ahead.
I can analyze Aston Villa, but I'm not a Aston Villa supporter because of their manager. So that's number one. Let me just put that out there.
You don't like Unai Emery after he coached your team? Wow.
Why should I? Come on, man.
What happened? Tell me the story.
No.
I would like to hear that. I would like to hear this beat.
Internet is your friend. You can research on that. Anyway, I think it's going to be a tough game for Man United. I think it's going to be an interesting game to watch. I think Man United is in a better shape. Most of the injured players are back. And I've always said it. There are some players that just push the team to victories. And that's Martinez and Casemiro. Hopefully they are fit to play. They have these. I mean, Casemiro has the calm and the coolness to manage games, right? Even if they are losing. So they need a matured person in that midfield. So that's good for them. Martinez helped the defense, even though he
actually out.
Huh?
He's out. Yeah, he's injured. Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, right, that's always a challenge for them, right? Go and watch most of the game, but I Maguire can step up. It's just that there's a bit, there's a different level of urgency that Martinez brings to the game. So it's a miss for them, but I think they have players. They have Luke Shaw that can play in that central. They have Maguire that can step in that center. They have Varane, so they have players that can do the work, right? But Casemiro is back, which is great for them. Most of their midfielders are returning, and they have options to rotate, so that's good. But Aston Villa just lost to Chelsea, the FA Cup, right? Emery would want to get some result. That's not good for them. They can overlook that and say it's an FA Cup. But remember, they're actually number 4 on the table. So they still want to make that Champions League. And this win will make sense for them, or at the worst, get a draw. So it's never going to be easy for Man United. Man United will have to play a very good game to win that game. That's why I see this game going. And if I will predict, I'll probably think it's going to be a slim win for Aston Villa, maybe 3-2. Aston Villa.
Awesome. All right, so Nee,
Yes.
what's your analysis and prediction?
I mean, looking at Man U and Aston Villa has had a great season so far, but with Man U, it's kind of it has been up and down. There are times when they are doing great, and but then just one loss and that will bring them down. So looking at this game, I think that it'll be a tough match for both teams, but I think that I trust Emery, as a coach, to bring his players to play this game at the top level. So like I'm looking at Aston Villa to like win this game because of
Awesome.
their players and yeah, just on the tactics and the coach too. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, what's your opinion on the game or your prediction?
I'm hearing everybody saying Aston Villa is going to win, as well as with all these high-scoring games. But at least I just to jog your memory a little bit, right? Aston Villa hasn't scored more than one goal in the last actually what 2 goals total in the last 5 games, right? They drew 0-0 against Everton, 0-0
No, no,
against Chelsea.
that's not true. Aston Villa
They
destroyed.
did win his game.
No, they've only
It's
scored.
not
Oh
a
no, yeah,
fighting
yeah. Sorry,
game. Yeah,
Sheffield United. Sheffield United. My bad. Yeah, that's true. Sheffield United they scored 5 goals against that. So, and that's so. But my only thing there now is, I mean, I don't see them scoring that many goals, right? And my only thing sometimes I used to judge is what is your current score. Aston Villa has only won one game against Sheffield United in the last 5. Manchester United has won 4 games out of the last 5, drew the last one. And for some reason, they keep coming back. So that means even if Aston Villa scores 2 goals, the probability of Manchester United staying close or scoring 3 goals out of the 2 in order to win this game is also high, right? Just like Biodun pointed out, the likes of Casemiro coming back in the midfield has been a huge plus for us. And then Kobe Mano is going to be doing his thing in the middle. McTominay coming out of the bench to give them that good 8-9 position out there. And for the first time, I think Ten Hag is basically getting the tactics right with Anthony and Garnacho, playing them in opposite wings so that they can actually create those crosses for Holland to score. Because basically, why you spend so much money for a striker when you can't even deliver it in there? Not everybody's a Robin, not everybody's a Ribery who can cut in and score goals. Sometimes you have to feed that striker, and if the striker starts scoring now, it becomes a huge problem. So Haaland basically getting his form back, Rashford basically doing everything that he does. I see the game as one in which is Manchester United's game to lose. Unfortunately, the huge juggernaut back there, Lissandro Martinez, that was supposed to at least bring everybody together now, is basically out. So the likes of Shaw, Varane, as well as the other people back there. It's kind of like, and then Watkins has been doing well with what do you call it, back defenses for a couple of weeks now. So that's basically why they will score. But the fact that Manchester United won't score more in order to win this game is going to be hard. So I basically pick a 3-2 win or 2-1 win to end it.
Awesome. That's great analysis. For my own unbiased opinion, I would say um, Aston Villa has been a more predictable team as compared to Man U this season because we can tell that Aston Villa had played a couple of games. They played tougher teams, and you could, to a certain extent, say, okay, Aston Villa will win this game. with all else being the same. Usually they've been playing, they've beaten Man City this season, they played other teams this season, they've proven themselves to a reasonable extent this season. But as compared to Man U, I can't still discount them because Man U, the way they've been playing of recent, even though it seems like it's shaky, even when they win, you're not really sure. It's like, oh, wait, is that deja vu? Did we really win this game? You know, or is this our true form or is this a one-off? So to that point, you can tell if you're a gambler, you want to put all your hopes with Aston Villa. But in that same situation, you cannot discount Man U because it seems like they've been getting their reading. And I would leave the game to a chance. I would say Aston Villa might be at the top, right? And they played nice game, right? If they have a good day, they'll beat Man U. If they don't have a very perfect day and they are shaky, the chances of winning Man U is slimmer because a rejuvenated team is always better than even a trying team because you can
So
over
are you calling it Man U a rejuvenated team in this situation?
with their current form with the
But
play.
that's been the same story for Man U. They go up and they go down. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what's been happening all season.
yeah, they've been playing. Yeah, they essentially have been playing that.
Yeah,
Oops,
like I
oops,
mean,
we won. Oops, we
one
lost.
last week, they might give you a different result this week. That's what they've been delivering.
Which I said, like a better would say, to be sure that I'm going to get returns on my money, let me put my money on Aston Villa, right? But remember, history sometimes plays in the psyche of teams that even though they are at their worst situation, you say, oh, it's Aston Villa, we must win them.
Well, this
You
is
know,
almost
so that psyche is another part. We
yeah
can't take out for Man U because Man U they almost lost a game they were winning
to Wolves.
towards the end of the game, and they somehow found a way to win. You know, so that's the way you should. That's a little level of respect that I have to that even as a Liverpool fan, I have to give to my main. It's not will I call them my main rival at this point? You know, you can't compare a team that is in retirement home with a new startup team. You know, so that's more like
Wow.
the way I still respect them. That okay, in their worst situation, they could do something, but I
Yes.
would not put my money on them. You know, so
Okay.
that's my own
Awesome.
conclusion on 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 the game on Sunday. And
Yeah.
if it would happen, I might predict a draw rather than either team winning because
Okay.
nobody seems to be convincing enough to win for me on Sunday.
Great.
Okay.
Did you make your prediction for the West Ham Arsenal game? I'm not sure I heard that.
Oh, okay. So on the West Ham, I think I really didn't chime in as much on the West Ham Arsenal game. So on West Ham Arsenal game, David Moyes is stubborn about the way he plays Big Four team. So he would say in his worst day, I can lose against some of these small teams. But what brings respect to me is me beating the big teams. So I play my best tactics with the big team, right? That's on one side. If they are lucky enough to score a goal before you, it will be very difficult for you to be able to psychologically overcome them with that. But
Agreed.
whatever will make Arsenal score the first goal, Arsenal is winning the game. To be fair, because that's when we now see his tactic breaks down in front of him because it's like, okay, now they score, now we have to come out. And remember, like I said, if you score against Arsenal, then Arsenal has to come out more. But if Arsenal scores against you, which they expect you to come out, then forget it. Psychologically going to reverse your game style. And I would say Arsenal still has a chance of winning, you know. So it's just the way the game is. Too poor that It's West Ham they face next, but Arsenal wants to. They are charging to try to win the league. So I might choose Arsenal. I'll pick Arsenal over like West Ham on Sunday.
What score? What is the score you predicted?
Might be 2-0 actually. Might be 2-0. Just straight 2-0 and they win. And not the draw. Even if Moyes might be stubborn about trying to play defense, but Kudus cannot make the whole impact in the whole game if you have many players that could score from Arsenal. And like the way they've been playing, they play false nine sometimes. They could perform miracle.
Yeah.
The way they play, but
Just so you remember, West Ham has beaten Arsenal 2 times this season. First, they sent us out of the EFL Cup.
I can say that also about Liverpool. Liverpool sent Arsenal packing. It's
Yeah.
still the past
So
performance.
no. I'm just saying that is the hanger, and that's going to be the message in the heads of this player when they come out against West Ham. You have lost to West Ham twice. You're not going to lose this third time.
It
They
might not.
drop you out of EFL. They beat you at home. You have to make a statement.
Are
And
they
if I-
playing? Are they going to play a game of revenge, or are they going to play a game?
that's why I try to avoid the word. But I tell you what happens.
Play a game.
I tell you what happens in the dressing room.
What Arsenal played against Liverpool seems to me like a game of revenge. Oh,
That's what I'm saying. I'm just not.
That's what they did. That's what they essentially did. And
That's what happens in the dressing
room
room.
that day.
The manager arouses you and remind you. And I will tell you, I'll give you one good example. 2 seasons ago, the kickoff was against Brentford when Brentford beat us 2-0, right? If you guys remember, that was after Tars, I think, first full season, right? And they beat us 2-0. Very bad game. When we play Brentford again, Ateta showed them the video, and it showed them, how they got destroyed, everything. It was on Amazon Prime. So if you watch that documentary, you will see. And that's how he rallied them around. So I know the way he thinks, I know the way he talks to his player, and I know he's going to show them the video about how West Ham beat them 3-0 EFL, 3-1 actually with the guard score, then how they beat them first leg, was it December 28th or something like that. So this time around, the team has no excuse now to go there and show that the Liverpool win wasn't a fluke and it's not going to be a waste. So you need to fight. No matter what it takes on Sunday, you need to get 3 points.
But I will always stay on the less riskier point. Do not play a game of revenge, because in trying to do that, you lose more than gaining anything. It's just as simple as that. So
you and I know that at the professional level, we all do. It happens. That's just the truth.
I will tell you one to actually end the conversation tonight. I will tell you one of the most painful parts of this season so far wasn't the loss against Tottenham. It was actually the loss against Arsenal, because I wasn't expecting the defense to be as disorganized as they were in the last game. It was something that shocked everybody, because it was like, oh, this should have been easy. Clearance between.
Did you see why that happened, though? Did you see why?
I understand. I understood what happened. No, remember, the occurrences wasn't once. The second and the third goal was the defense. It wasn't any other.
Equalizer. It's the same. I actually think the second goal that Arsenal scored basically cancelled out the mistake. Like, could you imagine that it was the 2 best defenders in the league that made that mistakes? Those are the 2 best defenders in the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the most painful part of the game of last weekend. But remember, we take it in strides. Yeah. One thing I want Klopp to learn going forward is you don't always have to win the game or all the game, but when the ones you win well. One thing Man City has employed all through most of the seasons: draw less game, win the one you have to lose less, you will always win the league. It's as simple as that. But you can't be drawing. If Liverpool doesn't drop any other point and drew the game against Man City this season, the season is over. It's predictably as already, But as far as you lose less games and
I don't want to think about it. It's still a long season. Anything can happen.
Arsenal fans are the only ones that don't think about the end of the season, because we know that they might end with heartbreak.
Well, whatever you say, it's all right.
I mean, I know that's always sounds hope, but hey, let's see. You play too comfortable. If I was supporting a team, I'll put all my eggs in that basket. But Building is playing he's played on the side of caution too much this season,
Yeah.
but we'll see what happens at the end.
Yeah. Well, it's been awesome. Thank you guys for coming. Ohai, thank you again for coming for the first time. Me, thank you for returning. Lobzy, always enjoy.
As always, the best analyst on this
We'll take that.
on this cast.
You bring the best revenue, whatever you say, it's all good.
Yep.
Viewers, thank you so much. Let's see how the games turn out.
Yeah.
See you next time. Thank you.